Happy Friday. Here's an AFN news update for you. I'm Bronson Woodruff. President-elect Donald Trump is continuing his fast-paced announcements of who will be the key players in his new administration. Trump says he'll nominate activist Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to lead the Department of Health and Human For too long, Americans have been crushed by the industrial food complex and drug companies who have engaged in deception, misinformation, and disinformation when it comes to public health. Trump said that in a post on his Truth Social site. Kennedy is a former Democrat who ran as an independent in this year's presidential race. He abandoned his bid after striking a deal to give Trump his endorsement with a promise to have a role in health policy in the administration. He and Trump have since become good friends, we're told, with Kennedy frequently receiving loud applause at Trump's rallies. Biden administration officials are working against the clock, doling out billions in grants and taking other steps to try to preserve his agenda before President-elect Trump takes office in January. Trump has pledged to rescind unspent funds in Biden's climate agenda and stop some of Biden's high-priced energy projects. There's only one administration at a time, Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg told reporters at a news conference on Thursday. He added, quote, "That's true now, and it will also be true after January 20th. Our responsibility is to make good use of the funds that Congress has authorized for us, and that we're responsible for assigning and dispersing throughout the last 3 years," end quote. But Trump will control more than the purse strings come January. Its administration also can propose new regulations to undo some of what the Biden admin did through the rulemaking process. Attacks on Jews continue in Europe. The AP reports the latest altercation came at Thursday's Nations League soccer game between France and Israel, despite heavy security inside the stadium. This was a week after violence erupted in Amsterdam in connection with an Israeli club team's visit. Around 10 minutes after the game kicked off, as scheduled at 8:45 p.m. local time, there was a scuffle in the top section of the stand behind one of the goals, with some of those involved having Israeli flags draped over their backs. It was not clear what caused the altercation, and security intervened after around 1 minute. A federal appeals court has found that an Indiana law banning gender manipulation procedures on minors can remain in effect. This after a federal appeals court months earlier allowed the ban to take effect. A panel of judges on the 7th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals ruled 2-1 on Wednesday that the law's restrictions are within the purview of the Indiana General Assembly and do not infringe on the constitutional rights of children, their parents, or medical providers. That's all for this AFN News Update. Much more news from a Christian perspective is available on afn.net. Thanks for watching. I'm Bronson Woodruff.